Okay, it's I guess the second week into building this amplifier. Anybody familiar with amplifiers will recognize this over here as being a Champ, a Fender Champ, an old tweed Fender Champ. This section over here, which is the bias, it's actually hooked up to a switch. It's switchable, so it goes between the different the different ratings for the resistors. There's a capacitor, a couple of capacitors in there, a resistor. Here's the input over here. Pain in the butt. There's 5 different wires going into right in there on the input jack. So here's the switchable bias. I added a tone control. This is a volume tone control I added. And I added an ignition switch, which lights up a 120 volt little neon light from Radio Shack. So you turn the switch on, it lights this up and tells you the 120 volt that's going to be over here is active. Then it comes over to the switch, and then it acts like a normal amplifier from there. So here's V1, V2, and here's the rectifier V3. So then the power tube is 6V6, and this will be a 12AX7. And on these wires here, I got these two we'll put over here. I forget which is which at the moment, but one of them is 4 ohms and the other one's 8 ohms. So I'm putting a switch. It's a switch from 4 to 8. And this will be the input jack right around here. We're going to put the 2 amp fuse here, and then the power cords going here. Now, the way I showed you kind of how I make the cabinets, the chassis is almost as simple. So the cabinet is 10 inches wide, and I make the chassis, which I always thought was going to be the hard part. The chassis is 8-inch steel plate, and the front, for the front and back plate, what I use, I cut a. So anyway, here's the process. You build the cabinet, and then you figure out how wide it is. You cut your 8-inch piece of steel to the width of the cabinet so it fits perfectly in there. And then you take the 6-inch piece of steel, cut it to the same width, and then cut it right down the middle for 3 inches. Gives you you can see plenty of work surface in here. Then you get yourself some L bracket, I guess it would be a drip edge or something like that, whatever. It's I think it's about 1 inch high, and then you drill it to pass some screws through. And I like the look of these screws here. I forget what they're called, but they're kind of raised. You use a hex Allen wrench to install them. You paint the front and the back, and of course you have to add the safety switch to launch the missiles. And then you got your ignition key, of course, and that's pretty much it. There's not much to it. You got this time around, I put a lot of effort into trying to keep it nice and clean. I've been doing some reading. You know, the cleaner it is, the less likely there's going to be some hums. So that's what it looks like. For now, the front is all wired in. All the wires are there. And the next phase of the operation is going to be cutting some holes. Here's the back plate here. Cutting some holes in here. You can see I kind of marked out where I want to drill some holes. And then we'll attach that. We'll put in the stuff that's going on the back plane, and we'll plug it in and see if it lights up. Alright, that's it for now.